down to this. It's the gold medal game in men's wheelchair basketball. Great Britain in white, USA in blue, and we are underway. Phil Pratt, the captain of Great Britain, has the ball. His team will look to set up its offense. He throws it underneath for big Lee Manning. One hand catches it, banks it in. First basket, Great Britain.
That's such a confidence moment for Lee Manning. Him being able to get inside and establish his presence, to use his size early in the game, will be crucial to Great Britain's success here today. Like, he has the size advantage over everybody in the world. He just needs to make sure he uses it here.
That pass deflects off of a Great Britain player. Might have been Ben Fox. And actually, he's going to get a foul charged on him here.
Foul's also something that could be crucial here in the game. As we said earlier, GB have a very, very deep rotation, but if someone like Fox comes out of the game, it's the inexperience and youth of Cusack who comes in. Cusack has shown his absolute world class already in the tournament, but not a player with the experience of someone like Fox, of course.
Jake Williams, who's also the head coach of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and Steve Cyril is going to save this ball. 3 on the shot clock, puts it up, and he draws the foul. Second foul already for Ben Fox. We're 43 seconds into the game.
Ben Fox, someone who's made his way in this team by absolutely playing hard-nosed defense. He's so aggressive. He fights for every ball. But the fouls can be a problem, and early foul trouble here, and we'll see if that forces a substitution from the Great Britain team.
Overall in the tournament, Steve Cyril, 60% free throw shooter. That's 1 of 2. He'll try to make it 2 of 2. Cyril has played a lot of his career in Europe, Germany, and of late in Italy. And I haven't heard, Joe, where he's going to play this year. Have you?
We'll have to wait and see. He lives in New York, of course, so there's a good opportunity he could play back there. There's a lot of the U.S. guys playing back in the States recently.
2-on-1 for Great Britain, and Phil Pratt misses the layup. Brian Bell had gone down on that play, and now he's got the ball. Bell had an absolutely monstrous semifinal game, scored over 30 points against Canada. Steve Cyril goes to the basket, banks it in, and does the old spinorama.
You can see the impact that those fouls have there, though. Ben Fox normally would have flown in at Steve here, but had to pull away from that, not wanting to make the contact.
Lee Manning's got to sort out some equipment issues, handles that in no time flat. Greg Warburton, most valuable player, the 2018 World Championships. What makes Greg Warburton so good, Joe, number 12 on Great Britain?
I mean, it is just my opinion, but it's shared by a few people. I think pound for pound, he's the best player in the world. Like, for his classification, there's no one better. He's an unbelievable shooter. His vision is incredible. He's one of the most composed young men that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. There's really nothing that he can do that he can't do on the basketball court. From 3, from 2, assisting to his teammates, picks up a surprising number of rebounds as well for someone of his size.
He inbounds the ball to Manning. He's being guarded by Williams. Tosses it in for Pratt. John Boyd trying to get his hand up in Phil Pratt's face. Sings it across for Warburton. Quick pass to Fox. Back to Pratt. And they want to get the captain going. It's going to be rebounded off of Great Britain and USA ball.
A couple of misses early from Phil Pratt, but he's an incredibly confident player. Huge amounts of self-belief, so I'm sure that won't impact him at all as the game goes on. You could see in the previous USA defense, they're looking to press GB as much as possible, and GB using Phil Pratt to break that press. Interesting, as he's usually one of their main handlers.
Pratt has the ball now. He missed the games in Rio 3 years ago, but he is fully functioning and dynamite this time around. It was because of family reasons. In Tokyo, I meant to say there, as Jake Williams busts in all alone. So just to clarify, Phil Pratt was on the team in Rio, is on the team now, but missed the games in Tokyo. He's got the ball now. And we've got a foul off the ball, and it is on USA. Trayvon Jennifer.
Smart foul by Jennifer there. He knew that that seal was coming and that Manning was going to be underneath for another layup. They had to get down and just stop the chair, burn the foul early rather than give up the layup.
Warburton, his comfort zone, usually. He might get another shot at this. Sends it across. Pratt's going to track it down. Still time to work for Great Britain. And now Brian Bell picks up a foul.
That's USA's third team foul so far. Nothing too much for them to worry about, but it does mean they need to play the last 7.5 minutes of this quarter being a little aware of their fouls. There's 2 more fouls this quarter and they'll be in bonus, and they don't want to put Team GB to the line.
Here's Pratt inside for Manning. He is almost unchallengeable from in there.
Early in his career, Lee was a guy who would laugh about the fact that he got as many offensive rebounds as points, because he would have put them up and maybe missed the first, but got his own rebound. He's so big. Now he's become so much more consistent, and you can see the impact he has on defense there, barely reaching above his head to rip that steal down.
Warburton tries to launch that one for Fox, and the body's all over, but everybody's perfectly fine. But we've got another foul on this play. It's going to be against USA. Or is it? No, it's on Ben Fox, his third foul already, and we are 3 minutes and 14 seconds in.
I mean, difficult situation for Ben Fox there. He couldn't pull completely out of that, but he just needs to be aware that when you're already on 2 quick fouls, you can't put yourself in those situations. And what a moment this is for young Peter Cusack. First Paralympics, first tournament for Great Britain. And he's here, and he's going to have to play significant minutes, I predict, here in this game.
There's Jake Williams, pump fake, now shoots. And he has drawn a foul. So Greg Warburton's first foul of the game. Jake Williams to the line. Williams, an excellent shooter all around, 60% from the free throw line in the tournament.
Jake with quite an unusual action as well. He shoots from a long way across his shoulder. Very quick, very snappy release. That's so effective for him.
Mentioning Jake Williams coaches the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. A couple of his players are on this team. School that produces a lot of international talent, both Americans and other nations. Here's Pratt stretching out the USA defense. Still time to work. Works it inside for Warburton. The miss on the layup. Palmer comes in to help. Now into the hands of Manning. He'll left-hand that one in off the glass.
That's where USA just switched off for a second there. So on that rebound, Manning was just able to cut in the back door as USA were too concerned about the ball and not about that cut on the weak side.
Jake Williams for 3. He hits it.
Williams, such an aggressive shooter. He's one of those guys that he has never seen a shot that he doesn't like, and he's capable of making most of them as well. It's that early, quick release from the three-point line. So dangerous for the USA, Jake Williams.
Great Britain trying to fight back here, down by 5 early on. Manning for Pratt, 3-point attempt, nails it.
Reply from Phil Pratt then, and he celebrates with his bench as well. A guy who really plays with his emotions. He looks a cool customer, but he gets very fired up when he plays, particularly in games against the US.
And Jake Williams responds with a tray of his own, and it's a 5-point lead, United States again. And there's another one back the other way. Both players pumping their chests, or at least reason to. Pratt and Williams putting on a three-point clinic.
Offensive foul called there on Trayvon Jennifer, I think it was. His second personal of the game. That could be key for for the USA. Jennifer plays a similar role to Pratt. Very aggressive on defense, very explosive. They don't want to lose him early in the game.
Well, and also he plays the most minutes of everyone on the team. So that would be a big blow. Here's Warburton. He leads Great Britain, or one of the leaders in minutes played. And Serial gobbles up the rebound.
You just see the flexibility of Manning in that shot there. He's leaning so far out his chair to pull the trigger, then off balance, and another steal for him. Reading the passing lane beautifully there.
So Lee Manning on his game. USA making it very difficult for him to do anything under the offensive basket at this point. He'll try to find his way on the other side. Here's Cusack with a shot. Rebounded by Steve Serial.
Cusack, not a player who's known for his volume scoring from outside. Gets a lot of his points out of cuts in transition and just exploding through the lane. But from a GB perspective, they're going to need him to be a threat from there, just to pull the defense a little wider.
John Boy left alone to shoot. It's a little short. And Warburton takes the ball. Greg Warburton will hold and take his time and find the right play. You know it. Across for Pratt. And then to Warburton. Puts it up, off the glass, and it almost wanted to go in.
We've seen this for a couple of times in the tournament already from Warburton, though. He misses his first couple, and it makes absolutely no difference to him whatsoever. So confident as a shooter.
Great read there by Williams to gobble up that ball that looked like it was headed to the sidelines. 4 on the shot clock. Boy underneath. They really want him to score.
He opens somewhere.
I.W.B.Delinquents coming into the game for Great Britain, for Jim Palmer. It's John Boy at the free throw line.
I.W.B.Delinquents, as we said earlier, one of the greatest low-point shooters the game has ever seen. Doesn't do the same volume of work off the ball that Palmer does, but so dangerous from outside.
So John Boy gets 1 of 2, extends the USA lead to 3 points. Great Britain captain Phil Pratt working on a 6-point game, gives to Jama. He feeds it right back into Pratt, make it 8 points for Phil Pratt.
And you can see so clearly there the impact of these fouls as we watch this replay. Trayvon Jennifer just having to pull away, can't challenge Pratt as he usually would. 2 personal fouls for him already.
Here's Bell, here's Serial, here's Williams, and Lee Manning got up to bat it away, but it's going to be USA ball with 8 seconds on this shot clock.
Treading a fine line there, Manning. The referee could have called him for backing there. If he hadn't tipped the ball away, I think that might have been a pretty clear foul from Manning.
Williams puts up a 3-point attempt.
It's unbelievable the distance and the range that Jake Williams takes these threes from. It's almost Steph Curry range for those of you who follow the NBA.
Cusack tried a long launch of a pass to Pratt under the basket. It didn't quite work out. And then you saw a little discussion between Warburton and Cusack on that. Here is Jake Williams. Inside for Bell. USA trying to establish that inside game, but it's tough against big Lee Manning.
Yeah, exactly that. You can see the difference for Bell. Like, he had such an incredible game against Canada and against Patrick Anderson, probably the greatest to ever do it. But the way Lee Manning plays defense inside and using his incredibly long arms, his arms over 7 feet long, so much reach that Bell just has to take his shots so much quicker than he usually would.
USA captain Steve Serio stops at the elbow and fires. And he is so good from that range when left alone especially.
And how do you stop that in transition? GB's so worried about the transition cuts from the USA. They had to pack out the key, and it just left Serio wide open.
You've got to pick your poison, don't you, in wheelchair basketball?
Absolutely. Great offense will always get a shot off. It's just a question of what shot do you give up.
And USA didn't mean to give up that Lee Manning shot, but he converts.
Yeah, Manning out to 8 points personal now, 4 of 5 shooting. He's on 8, and Phil Pratt, the captain, is also on 8.
And actually there is a foul on this play. Is it on I.W.B.Delinquents?
It looked like Trayvon Jennifer's wheel was just caught in Jammer's foot plate there, but because of the team fouls, that'll mean that Trayvon Jennifer goes to the line.
So that foul was on Jammer. The 1 point game is all that separates these two teams, which have clearly been the two best teams at this tournament. We shouldn't be too surprised by the score.
Great composure from Jennifer to knock down the second there, and GB will be looking for a 2-for-1 here. That means they want to time their shot to make sure that they get an extra offense that the USA don't.
Wow, Greg Warburton. You called it, Coach.
I mean, it's a smart play from Great Britain, and Greg Warburton is one of the smartest players out there. You take that shot early, USA have got 24 now to get their shot off, and GB will still have another good offense.
Three-point attempt for Serio. He's another of the smartest players out there. You see a couple of seconds between the game clock and the shot clock. Warburton.
Steve Serio is such a big game player. He's someone that and I use the term only very loosely here, but only averaged 11 points a game. But he is able to score in huge numbers.
Jennifer on the fast break, and he's going to score a huge basket with the clock running out. What a battle between these teams. It was a 1 point game just moments ago. It's a 5 point game now, but it could change in the blink of an eye. Here we go, second quarter. Steve Serio with the ball. Led the USA team to a gold 3 years ago in Tokyo. He scored 29 points in that gold medal game to Steve Serio. Oh, that one, like it wanted to go in, but it just would not drop for Jake Williams.
It's what we said earlier about Williams, though. He is such a dangerous scorer. Needs no space at all. And another one that needs no space at all is Greg Warburton. Such a quick release.
Toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose. These top competitors, two best teams in wheelchair basketball. Serio thinks about three. Still has time to work. Puts up a shot over top of Lee Manning.
I mean, the only way to get a shot over Lee is to put some unbelievable height on it. And that is exactly what Serio did there. Such amazing lift on that shot.
Here's Pratt, launches a pass across for Warburton. He banks it off the glass, but it rattles out. Rebound Jennifer. Long pass Williams. Gemma loses his balance. And another big basket. United States, their lead is 7.
I mean, that was an NFL touchdown pass from Trayvon Jennifer there. Unbelievable. Just dropped it over the shoulder of Williams as we see that again. Look at the arc on that pass. Absolutely millimeter perfect.
First down and goal to go, you might say.
See the double screen here from GB. Haven't seen this set yet today.
No panic, it seems, on the Great Britain side, but Pratt's shot misses from long range.
Yeah, the 2 threes he took earlier in the game were from the left-hand side of the three. This one from the right, and they know that he prefers that left side ideally, but incredibly dangerous from anywhere, to be honest, Phil Pratt.
Here's Brian Bell and he works the pass inside for Boy, and he just couldn't quite finish. It's going to be Great Britain ball here.
Tough finishes for John Boy so far in the game. You can see he's struggling on these passes over the shoulder. We've talked about it in previous games, but it's so difficult for low classification players to receive that ball, maintain their balance, and quickly finish. Change of lineup here from Great Britain.
Marsh is on the floor. Simon Brown is on the floor. Here's Pratt.
So by making that change, Great Britain are able to take that one-pointer out of the game at the jammer.
Nice job there by Simon Brown to create the opportunity and get the foul call.
Simon Brown, a very, very experienced veteran, knew exactly that contact was coming, and whatever the shot looked like, he just needed to get something up in the air.
Well, Brown should be forgiven because that was his first foul shot of the tournament.
A guy who's not played quite as heavy minutes in this tournament as he has previously.
50% foul shooter, though. As of now, 2 minutes into the second quarter, 6 points is all that separates these two teams. Here's Jake Williams in for Bell. Passes to Jennifer.
What a pass that was from Brian Bell, by the way, to be able to have the presence of mind to feed that then.
And then Jennifer gets the return, cuts into the lane, 29-21.
This lead from a Great Britain perspective is starting to get a little bigger than they would like, but we have seen them have slow starts in a couple of games here so far in Paris, and they have had absolutely blistering second halves where they've been unplayable.
Marsh puts one up. No, rebounded, team rebound, Bell and Williams.
So smart by Brian Bell, knows that he can't just outsize Manning there, so has to tip it away from Manning's hands.
Here's Jake Williams, three-point attempt. Not this time. Pass inside for Manning, and even Brian Bell, who's so big, couldn't reach up and knock that one away from big giant Lee Manning.
That's going to be essential for Great Britain. Manning just pushing the floor so aggressively. Usually in wheelchair basketball, you tell players they should cross up the floor. Manning just straight line speed there, powered his way inside.
Serial from the free throw line, and that's just like a free throw for him.
Forth in discussion between the coaches. No right or wrong way to do it, of course. Different coaches have different styles.
John Boy dishes over for Jake Williams. Williams launches a pass for Serio. He's got the hot hand, and you betcha he's got the hot hand. 14, make it 16 points for Steve Serio.
Unbelievable. 16 points on just 7 shots for Steve Serio.
Warburton busting in, and he's going to score on that almost every time when he has a path to the basket.
So deceptive in his chair, Greg Warburton. Has some of the best fakes in the game.
Clash of the Titans in this game. 4 of the tournament's top 5 scorers. Jake Williams among them. Inside for Brian Bell. And that one does not want to drop.
Bell struggling so far today. He's 0 of 2 from the field, and they've both been inside looks. Very, very unlike him.
Here's Marsh in for Manning. He's got the size mismatch, and he gets it to fall. That has been the best play for Great Britain in this game, bar none.
See, that one absolutely wiped its feet, though. It looked like it wasn't going in, just dragged itself down in the end, though. USA maintaining their lead, but GB are not going away here by any stretch.
Bell now takes the pass. Looks, reaches up over Marsh, still can't get it to fall.
Marsh sitting a little lower in his chair than he has done in previous years, but his more dominant arm is so long, it's really, really deceptive. He's so hard to shoot over.
Warburton slings it back to Marsh. That one's going to rattle out. Now, why would he set his chair lower?
So because of Marsh's impairment, one of his arms is a little shorter than the other. And he's quite a tall guy, so when he used to sit higher, he had this height advantage. But he just struggled to be as dynamic in his chair. Sitting lower is giving him more speed than he ever had before, so a lot more maneuverable now.
Good rebound there from Simon Brown. That gives Great Britain the ball back. Still trailing by 7. And as you said, Joe, they are not going away. Warburton.
As both teams just cooling off a little here so far in the second quarter after a red-hot start.
Manning firing from distance. Don't usually see Lee Manning shooting from that far away. And the ball pinballs around, finally collected by Serio. Quick outlet for Bell. 2-on-1 with Williams. Bounces him a pass. Puts it off the glass. Rebound Bell. They still can't get it to fall. Brian Bell, and finally taken away by Lee Manning. And Bell just can't break the seal on the basket.
He did everything he could there. He tried underhand, he tried right hand, he tried left hand. None of them would drop for him. And this game just getting a little ragged at the moment. The emotions starting to come into play. That first quarter was so cool and calm offensively from both sides, but really a little uncontrolled here at the moment. And Serio just inserting a little calmness into the situation.
Rare miss from Serio, but Boyd picks up the ball. Back it goes to Serio. He sends it across for Bell. He knows how important it is to get Bell going, does Steve Serio. He gives himself an assist, and he gives Bell the basket.
And that's just smart basketball from Brian Bell. He knows he's struggling inside. He knows he's feeling the pressure of the size of GB. So he'll go, okay, well, I'll just space out, sit over here then.
Turnover, Great Britain. USA gets the chance to work on its 9-point lead with under 2.5 to play in the second quarter. Serio's on 16 points and 6 rebounds and 3 assists and a steal already.
I mean, that is an unbelievable stat line from Serio, but what could have a factor here is Team USA have not rotated one player yet, and will their fitness come into play at some point?
That shot from Williams rattles out. Pratt and Warburton head out to lead the offense. Manning trying to establish under the basket. Marsh. Is he going to try a 3? He is. A little short, rebounded by Bell. Quick outlet for Jennifer. Dishes for Serio. Inside a minute 45 to play. Serio puts the ball on the floor. He's going to put a shot up, and he's going to hit another one. Last minute chat before play resumes between Warburton and Pratt, the two offensive leaders of this Great Britain team. They and Manning. I.W.B.Delinquents out there with Cusack. That's the 5 on the floor for GB. Pratt bounces it to Jama. Jama launches one in, a long 2-pointer for number 10.
And there you see exactly why Jama's been brought into the game. Fox, slightly more dangerous shooter than Cusack, but Fox has had to take a seat with his early fouls. Great response to bring Jama in, though, and add to the offense in that direction.
Serio now 7 of 10 from the field. Those are some pretty good numbers. Here's Pratt. Bounces for Warburton. Serio guarding him closely. They know how dangerous he is. He's got it now from the baseline, and he hits. Warburton's coming alive with 8 points.
There you see the dangerous 2-man game between Warburton and Manning. Manning doing such a good job to screen Warburton. He knows that the second they leave him, Manning's able just to explode into the key, so opens up so much space for Warburton.
Williams slings the pass across for Serio, underneath for Jennifer. And that was always going to be a tough play with Pratt leaning down on Jennifer. Final seconds of the half. Warburton in for Cusack. Misses. And that's going to do it for the first half. It's going to be a 7. Here we go, second half action in the gold medal game of men's wheelchair basketball. Great Britain captain Phil Pratt is going to inbound the ball. Will Great Britain win its first ever Paralympic title in wheelchair basketball? Will USA be the first team ever to win 3 in a row? Here we go. Warburton takes it to the basket, and he has it swatted away by Jennifer. Then the quick pass inside. What a presence of mind by Pratt.
Now we see how dangerous Manning is. He did a great job initially just blocking for Warburton, pinning the defense, giving him that layup, but then immediately attacking the basket.
Attacking the basket the other way is Serio. It's a 5-on-4 right now. Palmer is out of the play. Williams, Serio. Palmer does well to upright himself, comes back into the play. From outside comes the shot, and it is rebounded by Big Lee Manning, and he is up to 9 rebounds already.
USA will be disappointed that they weren't a little more aggressive there. It's sometimes you can feel a little lost in these man-out situations when you're not expecting it. So you just need to be aggressive, be decisive, attack the basket through your seals.
Good steal there by Williams. That ball was headed for Ben Fox, who's back in the game with 3 fouls. Here's Serio. Watched by Manning. Puts the ball on the floor. Looks for an outlet or a shot. How about a shot? Not this time.
Serio cooled off a little towards the end of the second and here at the start of the third, but smart by him to attack Ben Fox's side. What they're going to want to do is try and force him into drawing more fouls, but Fox flying through the key there and drawing the foul. If Williams could have just got in front of him a little earlier, Fox wouldn't have been able to stop. That would have been an offensive foul. It looks as though the referees are just going to the monitor here just to have a look if that was an unsportsmanlike foul or not. I would be surprised if they called that. It didn't look that way to me, but it has been something that the referees have been looking for in the tournament.
Now, what would be some of the factors that would help determine whether that's a unsportsmanlike or not?
There's a few things they need to take into account. They need to take into account the intent of the player. Was it out of control? Was it dangerous? Things like that. They're the sort of key factors, and it can be really subjective. So your referees have made their decision, and that was not, and I repeat, not an unsportsmanlike foul there, just a personal foul.
Foul on Jake Williams. I.W.B.Delinquents has come back into the game, and Palmer is out of the game for now. Here's Pratt, watched by Williams, launches a pass across for Jama. They like his shooting from there because of that.
I mean, you can see I.W.B.Delinquents there. His chair is pointing in one direction, his body's pointing in the other, and he just knocks it down. And the key is he keeps his shoulders so square. Even as his chair turns away, he's just so square to the basket.
The energy in here is incredible. 3-point game. Williams fighting off a player, got it to Serio, and Steve Serio, unmolested, fires one in.
Fox has to be so careful there. He's just reaching all across Williams, swinging and swinging at him. He is getting the ball, but all it's going to take is a small contact, and that'll be his 4th foul.
Pratt comes right back, and a calm response from the Great Britain captain has his team back to within 3. What a battle this is.
It really is. I mean, we predicted it would be. It's no surprise. And the difference is in the game, can GB keep Fox's experience in the game?
Nice. That time the feed was from Serio to Jennifer, and he converts.
See the difference. Fox having to be so careful there on that defense. He can't allow the player to get caught on his foot plate.
Warburton kicks it out for Jama. Finds Pratt. Bounces it to Jama. The fake. Slings it across for Warburton. Jama, 4 on the shot clock. Oh, that one just rolls out. Brian Bell's got the ball now for USA. Strangely enough, only a 2-point game for him. Gives it to Serio. Williams.
Difficult game for Brian Bell inside. Just the size of GB is tough for him to match, but he's so dangerous from outside as well.
And with different lineups, he seems to take on a different role. He's more of a ball handler, but we haven't seen those different lineups in this game.
Exactly. This USA team is in a little bit of a rebuild in some respects. They have some youngsters there sat on the bench where this is their first experience of Paralympic basketball. So the US are having to stick with their main lineup.
Pass finds Pratt. Jama, Warburton. He's got a perfect spot for him. It rattles out. Manning gets swarmed. He can't come down with that. And we've got an unsportsmanlike being called here. Is it on Trayvon Jennifer?
Now the foul was on Manning there. It looked like Manning and Jennifer's arms were tangled. You can just see on the replay there, Manning falling a little, getting tangled with Jennifer. Goes to let go of him. He's just making sure he doesn't fall, but the referees interpreted that as an aggressive action from Manning. The 2 from the line for Jennifer, and then possession for the USA.
Jennifer coming in here as a 40% free throw shooter.
Sometimes these numbers from early in the tournament don't have a reflection on what comes in the big moments. Trayvon's such a veteran, so experienced, and we've seen that already from Steve Sirio, a guy who's not scored huge numbers, but it's come into a final, and all of a sudden he's getting his gun in the game. People play differently when there's gold on the line.
Jennifer, Sirio from the elbow. As the shot clock was running out, it was a good attempt by Sirio. Had a good look. USA lead stays at 7.
You can see here how careful Fox is being on these pick and rolls. He's having to slow down a little earlier so as not to risk an offensive foul. It'd be catastrophic for him if he was to pick up a 4th early here.
Here is Warburton. So the defenses are playing so tough. Williams takes that pass, but Pratt gets back so quickly, he doesn't have a path to the basket. Here's Williams from in the paint, fights off a couple players, but can't get it to drop.
Williams not the biggest, may have been better off just slamming the brakes on a little earlier and taking a middle distance shot, but perhaps he's looking to try and draw the foul on Fox. Again, going inside, and Fox with his hands in the air.
Pratt across for Warburton, loses the handle.
You very, very rarely see that from Greg Warburton. He catches everything one-handed, of course, but so composed and so strong with that one-handed. It looked almost like he was thinking of the next thing he was going to do before he'd caught the ball.
Just to clarify, USA has yet to go to its bench. Every player has played every minute who is out there now. Here's Bell. Across for Williams. Jennifer comes in to help out. Williams puts one up. Had a pretty good look, but it's a long ways away.
Amazing defense from I.W.B.Delinquents there, known for his offense, of course, but having to defend outside of his classification there. Jake Williams at 2.5 with far more core function than Jama, but Jama not letting him move anywhere.
Jama a bit unlucky there. That ball knocked away from Sirio, but he's going to gather it in again for John Boy.
Great awareness from Sirio. Really, really close to an 8-second call there.
Nice move by Sirio. Dishes for Williams. Yes!
This time Williams stays
on those teams with Patrick Anderson from Canada. The Johnson brothers coaching this Great Britain team. 9-point lead, United States. Great Britain trying to fight back. Warburton, tournament's leading scorer, launches one up. Manning rebounds and tucks in another one. 16 points for Lee Manning.
Smart again from Jennifer. He took a swing at that ball initially to see if he could knock it away, as we see that here. But as soon as he realized that Manning had a clean shot, just pulling his arm away, not risking the 3rd foul.
Quite a battle going on between the two number 33s, Boy and Fox, away from the ball. Here's Williams from behind the screen. Yes! Lead back to 9 with under 3 minutes to go in the third. Here's Manning underneath, and he's like a mountain of a man.
From a USA perspective, this defense just isn't good enough. They're going to be frustrated with that. That's 2 looks in a row for Manning from as close as you can get. And at the moment, the USA, they're making the shots, but they're having to take much more difficult shots.
Nice little pick and roll. Jennifer and the and one play.
I mean, from a Great Britain perspective, so many things went wrong right there. Lack of communication meant both players jumped to the shooter. Fox having to help across. Fox on 3 fouls, throwing himself at that, committing the foul. Not hard enough to stop the layup, so Jennifer gets a 2 and gets a bonus from the line. And Fox now needs to check out of the game with 4 fouls. From a Great Britain perspective, that possession could not have gone much worse right there.
So now Trayvon Jennifer will try to convert. And he has been very good in that category. He is 3 of 4, 4 of 5. Completes the 3-point play. 10-point lead, USA.
And that's what we said about big game players. Trayvon Jennifer, 60% free throw shooter coming into the game, 80% shooter when it matters.
Warburton follows Kusak's lead. Now he takes it over to the right wing, slings it across for Jama. He's got time to shoot here. As the shot clock was running out, rebounded by Jennifer. A chance to add to USA's 10-point lead. Sirio.
What you couldn't see there was off camera, and we could see it from our position here, was that Steve Sirio took his initiative and just backpicked Lee Manning completely out of that possession. Nothing Manning could do to get around Sirio, so GB had to play without their giant talisman.
Sirio that time, his shot rattles out. Here's Phil Pratt, the Great Britain captain, looking for an outlet. Sends it to Warburton, who's over on this near side. Slings it back. Warburton, or at least Pratt, fading, firing, and just missing.
I mean, shots don't get much more difficult than that from Pratt. He was fading away almost from the 3-point line. And when you fade away in wheelchair basketball, you just have no momentum in your chair, of course. You're forced to lift that shot so much. You see, just in the background, substitutions coming in a second for Great Britain. It looks like Lee Fryer, another rookie, is coming into the game. That can only be for Lee Manning, and that must mean a press from Great Britain.
That last shot was nailed by Jake Williams, and he is up to 18 points in the game. The 2 point guards for USA, Williams and Sirio, have got 38 points between them. So finally some substitutions for USA. It is Salazar coming into the game and Jordan coming into the game. Sirio's going to get a little breather. All of this with 46 seconds left in the third quarter. Got to think Coach Rob Taylor just wants to get through this final 46, give Sirio a little breather. John Boy's on the bench as well. Fryer's on the floor now for Great Britain. He takes the inbound, spins with it, across for Jama, behind the screen, and it doesn't want to fall for Abdi Jama.
Sirio had picked up his 3rd personal foul on that last possession, so I imagine Coach Taylor just wanting to protect Sirio there from getting his 4th.
Jake Williams almost rescued that ball, put his whole self into it.
Showing his frustration a little there, and Jake Williams doesn't articulate his emotions on the court very often, but he is one of the fieriest characters in the game.
Final seconds now of the third quarter. Here's Pratt. Jama rolling towards the free throw line, and he hits it.
That was huge from a GB perspective, because if that shot was missed from Jammer, they were giving the USA a long time to get another offense.
Three-point attempt. Williams rattles out, picked up by Bell, got one more up, and it's not going to drop. It would have lit this 10 points. Does Great Britain have something in them for the comeback? John Boy is going to inbound the ball to Jake Williams. Williams on an 18-point game already. In for Steve Serio, and nice play by Peter Cusack to take it away.
Frustration on the Great Britain bench there. Serio has hit the deck and the referee stopped the play. GB just wanted that game to run. They wanted the 5-on-4. As we can see, the two youngsters, Fryer and Cusack, just working on back picks. They know that the USA have not rotated much here, and they just want to take the arms away.
So, opening seconds of the fourth quarter have already brought some drama in this gold medal game. Great Britain with Pratt, Jama, Fryer, Warburton, and Cusack on the floor. USA with Williams, Boy, Bell, Jennifer, and Serio. Here's Jama rolling into another shot. That one just rolls out.
This is a huge roll of the dice by the GB coaches here. Fryer is an unbelievable player with unbelievable potential, but he is very, very young, along with Cusack, and they're putting these two rookies in the biggest game that there is, in a Paralympic final.
Here's Brian Bell fading, firing, hitting. A huge basket for Brian Bell.
Unbelievable from Brian Bell. Really struggled inside in particular, but huge outside shots. Only 4 points, but that one, you don't get bigger than that over Pratt's hand.
Abdi-Jama has become a really important part of the Great Britain offense in this game as Fryer hits a big shot for GB.
And how confident is that young man there? No hesitation behind that screen to just fire that shot up there.
Williams dishes inside for Serio. Williams, he's got time and space.
Just see the rotation of Williams' chair there. He was lined up that was going towards the back of the ring. A lot of the time his chair's turning away from the basket as he shoots it. Not that time though. That three from Pratt would have been absolutely huge, just eating into the USA lead. Doesn't drop though. USA lead still at 10.
They work it in for Jennifer. Busting in, puts it in. Trayvon Jennifer has been a huge part. He's got 14. A huge piece of the USA offense. And substitutions happening here. Lee Manning's coming back into the game. Ben Fox coming back into the game. Cusack and Fryer had their moments of fame, and they'll get more in the future.
I think it's worth pointing out what an unbelievable job on the defense USA are doing. Team GB, by far the highest scoring average team in the tournament, nearly 81 points a game they're averaging. And after 32 minutes of basketball, GB just at 45 so far, 47 now after the next layup from Manning.
Well, he just continues to do his part. 20 points for Manning, but his team's still trailing by 7. Quick pass inside from Serio to Williams. They are like a dynamic duo.
And we could just see after this shot a shake of the head from Ben Fox. He knows he can't afford to play the defense that he wants to play, and those uncontrolled fouls early in the game are the reason for that.
And one for Greg Warburton. He goes to the basket, scores the bucket, draws the foul. Huge play for Great Britain.
Both teams just giving up layups everywhere here. The difference is that the US just committing the foul there and giving Warburton the opportunity for the bonus point. It looks like Warburton's strapping has just come a little loose, and particularly as a double amputee, the strapping in the wheelchair is absolutely key to keep him tight and in the right position in the chair. So it's worth him taking his time here. A less experienced player might rush to try and get back in the game as quickly as they can. Not Greg Warburton. He'll take all the time he needs to get himself ready.
Well, you don't become one of the very best in the world unless you know how to deal with all these key moments. The equipment's got to be just right.
Exactly, and if anything, there's a bit of a veteran move there, just taking the extra time to compose yourself as well as sorting the chair.
Finishes it off the old-fashioned way, 3 points for Warburton, and he's up to 11 now. Serio leading the USA offense, picks it over for Bell, way back to Williams, inside for Jennifer. Back to Bell, Serio, free throw line, hits another one. Are you kidding me?
I mean, Steve Serio is just unbelievable. The way he steps up in these big games every single time.
Here's Pratt, here's Jama. Inside for Manning, look how he reaches up and gets fouled in the process. He wanted the and one as well.
That is the 4th foul for Steve Serio. How huge could that be here? Manning smart, didn't make the shot, but going up through Serio's arm there to draw the contact. Serio felt that he wasn't in Manning's cylinder. That could be a huge moment in this game, absolutely crucial, and this is where we talked about earlier, Brian Bell having to change his game now. Serio's at the game, Salazar a lot more of a post player, so Brian, I assume, is going to have to take over some of the ball handling here.
He seemed to relish that in the games, maybe against opponents that weren't quite as good as Great Britain. We'll see how he feels about it here if he's asked to do that.
Lane violation by the USA. You're not allowed to enter the key as a defensive player until the ball has left the shooter's hands. Nice rebound, though, by Bell. Contact by Cusack, but that didn't bother him. And as predicted, we see Bell taking over some of the ball handling here.
Here's Williams, cuts to the elbow, hits another one. This guy is just feeling it.
So many leaders in this U.S. team. Williams, not a leader with his voice necessarily, the same way that Serio is, but he'll take responsibility.
USA lead up to 12 again with just over 6 minutes to go, but I.W.B.Delinquents has something to say about that.
Yeah, speaking of players who are happy to take responsibility, I.W.B.Delinquents more than happy to put the team on his shoulders if he needs to. He's up to 8 points personal now, as well as 3 assists.
Brian Bell, ball handling for USA right now. Takes it to the key, sends it back to Williams. Back inside for Bell, gives to Salazar, puts up a shot, rattles out, Manning the rebound.
Interesting setup from the USA here. I would have assumed that Bell handles, but I would have thought he may have gone to the wing a little more to put Salazar in the middle and allow him to cut off the triple switch.
Warburton! Had a quick glimpse there of Paul Schulte, USA player who has come back in his mid-40s to be a member of this USA team, and he is cheering on every move of his teammates. Williams. Work it to Salazar from just inside the elbow. It rattles around, and then guess who's there for the rebound? Williams. Or at least Manning, rather.
The trust that USA is showing in Salazar here is absolutely huge. A guy who's not seen many minutes in the tournament, but they're giving him these shots. They're the shots GB want to give up.
I.W.B.Delinquents gets another one to go. 6 points is all that it is, the deficit.
What a player I.W.B.Delinquents is. You can see he doesn't even glance towards John Boy as he pressures him there. The only thing he can see is the basket.
10 points for Jama. This is going to be out of bounds, but it's off Great Britain. Steve Serio's getting ready to come back in the game again for Salazar.
Fox treading such a fine line. You see him go for that steal there, and it's a good read to go for it, but it's a real gamble A huge, huge gamble at this game when you're on 4 fouls.
Serio, Williams. Here's Bell from behind the screen, up and no. Rebound, Fox. So both Fox and Serio out there with 4 fouls. 4:20 to play in the fourth.
Let's see which of these two players manage those fouls better.
Jama, Pratt took a quick glance up at the clock. 8 on the shot clock. To the corner. Hemmed in by Serio. Gives to Jama. He's watched by Bell. And we've got a foul in the key. I think it's on Jennifer or Boy. It's on Jennifer. Third foul on Trayvon Jennifer. Here's Pratt. He's got a mismatch, and he hits, and it's a 4-point game.
Momentum all with Great Britain here at the moment. They're on, I'm not sure exactly how many, I think about an 8-0 run right now.
So Ben Fox has just fouled out of the game for Great Britain. And that means double switch here with Marsh and Simon Brown.
I mean, we said we'd see which of the two players, Serio or Fox, would manage their fouls better, and that was one of those situations. There was just no reason for Fox to foul there.
Here's Williams. In for Bell. Slings it back for Serio. Warburton all over him, and he can't get it to fall. 4-point lead, less than 3.5 to go. Here comes Great Britain.
Difficult for Serio, but in a situation like that, when Warburton's leaning so far over, he might be as well driving on Warburton and trying to draw the foul, maybe.
That foul was on John Boy. And that's, USA is in the bonus now.
That is not the person from a USA perspective that you want to be putting to the line either. Phil Pratt, a phenomenal free throw shooter.
Came into this game, I'll tell you his numbers in a second, because I don't want to be responsible for jinxing him, not that that's a thing.
See the celebrations from Jammer on the bench there. That 5th foul from Fox means that the GB coaches had to take Jammer out of the game, and he had been carrying the GB scoring for a little while.
So that was the first free throw of the tournament that Phil Pratt has missed. Rebounded by Jennifer. USA lead is down to 3. Drops it off for Bell.
What a moment to miss it as well.
Here's Serio going to the lane and bouncing it off the glass and in. Huge basket.
As we see that replay there, the tactic from Great Britain now is clear. Manning is looking to break as soon as possible. He has had an unbelievable offensive game for Great Britain. He's looking to just get himself inside as early as possible here.
Here's Phil Pratt. From 3-point land, misses, but Manning gathers in the rebound. It's a new 14-second clock. Here's Pratt fading from the elbow. No! And Serio there for the rebound, and he gets fouled.
Really smart foul by Lee Manning there. Not anything to do with the play immediately ahead of us, but because GB only have 2 team fouls after that one here in the quarter. They may need to be in the bonus just to try and put USA to the line later in the game.
John Boy has just checked out of the game. It looked like he had an equipment issue, so Jordan comes in, and Jennifer may have been looking for a foul. He doesn't get it. Here comes Great Britain. They've got time. They've got the ball in the hands of the captain. Swatted away by Bell. Picked up by Williams. And then Simon Brown takes a foul.
What a huge play by Brian Bell. Pratt just no awareness that Bell was on his shoulder there, just for having the ball in one hand, not holding it strong. And Brian Bell does not have the numbers that he's had in previous games so far, but he is coming up with some huge moments.
Bell's got it now, across for Williams. Puts one up, puts one in. 7-point lead.
And there we can see exactly why Jake Williams is so dangerous. Zero hesitation there. Look how quickly he released that ball. And nothing but net.
Does
what
that with
a shooter he is.
With 12 seconds on the shot clock, that's what surprised me. And Steve Cirio has just fouled out of the game. What a game he had. An absolutely epic game for Cirio. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, 4 fouls drawn, 5 fouls taken. Wow.
Cirio will be furious with himself, though, because he has a plus 14 on the game.
Now he'll have to be a spectator and hope his team can hold on and nurse this lead home.
With the scorers that GB have, this 6-point lead is absolutely nothing with 1:50 to go.
Warburton gets them both.
You can see Cirio in the background there. He knows what a big moment that could be in this Paralympic gold medal game.
Warburton keeping his perfect free throw shooting intact. Here's Williams from outside the arc. And Marsh has just fouled Bell. And now that's the 4th foul for Great Britain. So USA's challenging here. What would they be challenging specifically, Joe?
We haven't seen a replay ourselves yet, but I would imagine that they might think that Marsh made no attempt to get in front of Bell there, that he deliberately dug his foot plate into Bell's chest to take him out, that it may have been overly aggressive. My initial reaction is that that wasn't the case, but it's very, very hard to tell on one viewing. And that's why the referees, it's key that they take their time. The question for the referees will just be, was that intentional from Marsh? Was he trying to take out Brian Bell? And this could be a huge decision for the referees, and they know that. If they give the USA 2 shots and another possession, that could blow the USA's lead out, and maybe that would be irrecoverable for GB. Who knows? Not just enormous moments for players in these gold medal games, referees too.
So not an unsportsmanlike. It'll be foul shots for Bell, or will it? No, not yet. One more, because Great Britain is not in the bonus until the next foul. They're going to inbound it. This is crucial. John Boyd back on the floor again, had a brief breather, gives it to Williams. He's had ice in his veins so far. Puts up a 3, it's short. Rebounded by Marsh. Pratt's all alone. And it is a 3-point game.
USA just not safety aware there. They had to make sure there was someone covering Pratt.
Here's Williams. Marsh gives him a nice little pick. Throws one up. And it finally drops in. My goodness.
And you can see that Jake Williams is determined. He's going to be the guy that takes over here. If his captain's out of the game, then he's going to take this team on his shoulders.
Here is Pratt inside for Simon Brown. Can't get it to roll in. Bell has rebounded for Boy, and he's fouled by Manning. That is his 4th personal with 56 seconds left.
Manning needs to be careful there. He's treading a very, very fine line to an unsportsmanlike foul there. Probably just had the balance about right, but everything in these calls can be so subjective. It's really hard for the referees, and you don't want to leave it in their hands.
John Boy feeling it from the free throw line. He is 2 of 3 in the game.
We talked about big game players in big moments. These are huge free throws.
6-point lead. Great Britain chasing the game. Here's Pratt. Bounces it to Marsh. Back to Pratt. Warburton lurking over on the far side. Foul called here on Trayvon Jennifer. And that is his 4th.
Absolutely the wrong guy to foul again.
Terry Bywater's coming into the game for Great Britain. Dynamite shooter.
Huge moment here for the 7-time Paralympian. Terry Bywater, known as one of the greatest scorers the game has seen, and they're going to need him to do that.
Pratt cuts it down to 5. Pratt cuts it down to 4. 43 seconds left. Edge of your seat action. Salazar to Bell.
Both teams with 2 timeouts to go. That could be key when it looks to progressing the ball.
Here's Williams. Still 12 on the shot clock. From the elbow. Short. Rebounded Salazar. Another 14-second clock for USA. Williams across for Bell. From behind the screen. It's in. It's a 6-point lead. Get into the hands of Warburton for an early shot. That's what I heard from Bill Johnson.
Yep, absolutely. That or a 3. They know they just need to let these 3 go now.
Bywater, yes! He hits it with 12.9 left.
So they absolutely need to get the ball in the hands of their best free throw shooters now, but GB know that as well.
Jennifer, Bell, fouled. 11.8. They get it nice and early. Foul on Pratt. That's only his first foul of the game. So also they get the foul on the right guy. They get Bywater back on the floor.
One of the key points here for Great Britain is that they don't go in too hard for these fouls. They need to be aggressive enough to get the foul early, but not so aggressive that it's an unsportsmanlike. They can't afford to give up the extra possessions.
Ryan Bell, my goodness, talk about ice in his veins. That is his first free throw of the game.
Emotionless as well, absolutely emotionless.
It's manageable. 4 points is the difference. Seconds dying down. Pratt puts up a long one. No, rebound. Bouncing around, USA's got